The first overrated movie I will be discussing is Barbie 2023, starring Margot Robbie, Will Ferrell, Ryan Gosling, Ariana Greenblatt, and Kate McKinnon. The core message of the movie is ultimately in support of an egalitarian society and finding your own self-worth without using others' validation. However, how it is executed leads it to being very superficial and generic. The core message is hard to grasp, but with all those different subplots and ideas the directors wanted to add to the movie, that made the movie have little to no structure and be very convoluted. Ariana Greenblatt, she is such a mediocre actress. Her acting is bland, generic, wooden, and monotone. I can tell she's acting. It's so incredibly obvious. With a good actor, you can't even tell if they're acting. They are the character they are playing. However, with Ariana Greenblatt, it's the complete opposite. Will Ferrell, he is the same character he plays in every movie. The same obnoxious, loud, overconfident man-child. Oh God, he's so unfunny. Yet he's regarded as a comedian on Google. He was exactly like this in Elf, Both Daddy's Home movies, and more. All the other characters' acting were mediocre and lackluster. Nothing too special about them to comment on, just a bunch of side characters. Finally, in the end, Barbie overthrows Ken's short-lived, temporary, patriarchal dictatorship, the one in which independent, powerful, and authoritative women serve the now higher authority and power, men. It returns to the matriarchy in the end, but now men get a few positions of power. This is incredibly contradictory to the egalitarian message of the movie, as now men and women's power dynamics are still deeply skewed, with the women still holding more power than the men. Overall, the movie had potential, but just needed much better execution. It played too safe with its themes. The second overrated movie I will be discussing is Saltburn 2023, starring Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan. The only memorable parts were the various shock scenes sprinkled throughout the movie. The graveyard scene, for one, the bathtub scene, the drinking blood scene, etc. These were the wow shock factor scenes made to attract curious audiences, but they were in for a disappointing surprise. The plot itself was not memorable, didn't feel unique, and fell flat. These scenes were just a huge marketing scheme that didn't advance the plot or develop any characters in any meaningful way. In the beginning, before the plot twist, Oliver is meant to be sympathized for, but was too creepy, pathetic, and too much of a slimeball to evoke any real feelings of pity. His character could have been executed way better, but unfortunately, more time was spent on the thirst trap scenes for TikTok. Overall, the characters are very underdeveloped. The overall direction and themes of the movie were poorly executed, convoluted, tone-deaf, lazy, shallow, ineffective, and not interpreted the way by the audience as what the director hoped. Instead, I recommend watching Talented Mr. Ripley, 1999, starring Matt Damon, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Kate Blanchett. The characters, plot, dialogue, soundtrack, direction, and themes are much better executed and developed. Basically, Saltburn is just a Walmart version of the Talented Mr. Ripley. Third overrated movie I will be discussing is Superbad 2007, starring Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Emma Stone, Bill Hader, Seth Rogen, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. First, before I get Rotten Tomatoes thrown at me, I need a preface. The only enjoyable part for me was Fogo, or McLovin if you want to call him that. He was the only character that was likable, enjoyable, and funny. He was the only one that actually made me laugh because he was so stupidly funny. Everyone else made me have a blank face. Second off, the movie was full of a bunch of sex jokes. Very vulgar and crude, yet not even close to being funny. They were just immature and childish. Overall, a lot of the jokes fell flat. Finally, the acting sucked. Jonah Hill was unfunny. The police officers, weren't they made to be funny? Nope, not even close to making me crack a smile. Again, no one was funny except Fogo. I love McLovin. Live, laugh, love McLovin. The fourth overrated movie that will be discussed is Oppenheimer 2023, starring Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Devin Bostick, Florence Pugh, Gary Oldman, Rami Malek, and Robert Downey Jr. The movies had a very boring storyline and was hard to keep up with. So when the more phenomenal scenes came up, they had lost their flavor. Not much to discuss with this one as I have not personally watched it. I just thought it was fun to include as a friend suggested it to me and I was running low on overrated movies. LOL. The Notebook is the fifth overrated movie that will be discussed. It starred Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling. For the first sad part of the movie, Allie had to leave Noah and return back home. It was supposed to be super emotional with Noah driving away, leaving Allie behind on the streets. However, it wasn't at all. It didn't have as much of an emotional impact as the screenwriters, producers, and directors hoped. But for the second sad part of the movie, Allie is sadly once again plagued by her Alzheimer's after sharing a brief romantic moment with her longtime lover, Noah. She is scared by the strange environment she finds herself in, and especially by Noah. This leads to her panicking, which leads to the staff sedating her. This scene is a lot more emotionally impactful since Noah is crying for the staff to leave her alone. So, basically, the emotional scenes are inconsistently impactful and need to have been executed more consistently and better. Another problem is that the movie glorifies Noah not being able to accept rejection, the Ferris wheel scene, and emotionally manipulating Allie into a romantic relationship. This is supposed to be a grand romantic gesture, but in reality it's incredibly creepy and toxic. Both of them clearly do not have a strong, deep emotional bond. They have more of a physical, lustful relationship as evidenced by their several intimate scenes. There is an evident lack of mature and diplomatic communication between, with the many fighting scenes being a clear indicator. In conclusion, it's a decent story, but it's not too well written. It could have been executed significantly better. Its biggest issue is its glorification of these toxic and manipulative relationships. The sixth movie I will be discussing is Bird Box 2018, starring Sandra Bullock, Machine Gun Kelly, Sarah Paulson, and John Malkovich, with Machine Gun Kelly being in there for some reason, even though his acting is beyond subpar. So first off, there was good parallel non-linear dual narrative structure with past flashbacks 5 years ago in the present timeline in which Mallory and the children are on the river. It was easy to follow and develop the story quickly, but wow. However, most of the characters are highly unlikable, badly written, and underdeveloped. It was so irritating to witness them not listening to John Malkovich's character Douglas. Everyone's acting, especially Machine Gun Kelly, was mediocre and pretty much sucked, except Sandra Bullock's character Mallory and Sarah Paulson's character Jessica, even though she had such a short runtime. The jump scares were not too scary, despite the invisibility of the monsters plaguing this apocalyptic world. The directors and producers of this movie could have played it to their advantage, but it fell flat and was too predictable. Good idea and concept, but not executed well. The ending with them finding a blind person sanctuary basically could have been executed much better. It was too anticlimactic, rushed, and lazy. Just an easy way out for the directors to close up the movie. I suggest a better ending / shocking plot twist to be boy, Tom, girl, Olympia, and Mallory to all down the river somehow, which would make the ending much more impactful and shocking.